So I literally like just came into the studio and I turned on the computer and got going. And then I looked at Twitter and I saw that 2 minutes ago there was a post about a PlayStation blog update. And this is for a little game called Concord we've been talking a lot about. And it's breaking my brain. An important update on Concord. You see not a single comment or anything. It's that fresh. From Ryan Ellis, game director. I haven't read this yet. I just saw like the synopsis of it. We're going to read it together. Concord fans, we've been listening closely to your feedback since the launch of Concord on PS5 and PC, and want to thank everyone who has joined the journey aboard the North Star. Your support and the passionate community that has grown around the game has meant the world to us. However, while many qualities of the experience resonated with players, we also recognize that other aspects of the game and our initial launch didn't land the way we'd intended. Therefore, at this time, we have decided to take the game offline beginning September 6th and explore options, including those that will better reach our players. What? So... Hold on. Okay, time out. So we're saying in 3 days, they're just going to shut the game down. This is breaking my brain. While we determine the best path ahead, Concord sales will cease immediately and we will begin to offer a full refund for all gamers who have purchased the game for PS5 and PC. If you purchase the game for PlayStation 5 from the PlayStation Store or PlayStation Direct, a refund will be issued back to your original payment method. Oh, good. I'm going to get a refund. The customers who purchase the other digital storefronts will also be refunded. More information about refunds from Steam and Epic can be found below. On the Steam Store, they'll refund players who got it. Epic Game Store, they'll refund it. Other retailers, they probably have to take it, you know, refer to the refund process at your retailer. Okay. Once refunded, players will no longer have access to the game. We'll keep you updated, and thank you all to all the free gunners who have joined us in the Concord Galaxy. That's the whole post. I mean, there is no way to describe this other than bizarre. I cannot think of another time in the history of gaming, except for maybe the day before, where a game has gone offline so quickly after being launched. I mean, the specific verbiage of this post makes me think that they're saying they're going to explore options, including those that will better reach our players. This, to me, makes me think they're going to refund everybody, come up with some way of relaunching it, and then launch it free to play. That's what that sounds like to me. I don't know if that's a solution. I don't frankly expect that to work because, like, the reputation of the game at this point sort of precedes it, but at the very least, they're giving people their money back. Now, to be fair, you know, not to dance on graves unnecessarily as opposed to necessarily. There's been reporting that this game sold as few as 25,000 copies globally across PlayStation and PC, which for a game which represents an investment of hundreds of millions of dollars by the time you factor in the development costs, buying the studio, marketing, all of that stuff, this has been a cataclysmic failure for PlayStation, no doubt. But still, I mean, this is bizarre. I am at a loss for words. They are taking the game offline to explore options, including those that will better reach our players. One of these options presumably being just like never returning it. It just is basically canceled. And then maybe relaunching it. Free to play is another option, maybe delaying it by a year and trying to do something. I don't know, man. This is bizarre. I've never seen this before. This is crazy. And coming from PlayStation is outrageous. Now, some of you might be wondering, why would they bother with this? Why not just leave the game out? Well, it's because live service games are not like single player games. Once it's out, there are costs to upkeep it, especially just in terms of server maintenance and, you know, not even to mention long-term support and stuff like that. And it's because live service games are kind of built on this premise that you can monetize them in a certain way. So like if you think of the cost of a game, it should be something like, you know, really high cost during development, and then it launches and we have server upkeep costs. And maybe that ticks up over time if you get more players when you're developing extra expansions, you know, that are launching at each of these intervals. And then maybe more players are getting in, so you have to pay for more server infrastructure, stuff like that. And the idea is that for free to play games, you start down here, and as players start to engage with microtransactions and stuff, it starts to really take off, and you end up enjoying all of this profit between the red and the green lines once you achieve that. The problem for Concord is that that green line wasn't doing that at all. It was staying at the absolute bottom, meaning they were just hemorrhaging money. And they're in perhaps the most consequential time for a game like this, which is the launch window, when you have to make an impression with players. You have to hook them, otherwise your game is just dead. And furthermore, another piece to this puzzle are the tax implications. I know that's like kind of funny and silly, haha, it's all about taxes, but that is seriously something that I have to factor in here, because a game like this represents, as I said, hundreds of millions of dollars. Depending on their accounting methodology, because I know it's different, you know, whether you're working in European accounting rules and procedures versus US versus Japan, it can be different. There are the generally agreed upon accounting principles, the gaps, which are kind of ubiquitous across countries and continents, but still nonetheless, there's sort of nuance to this, but it's all beside the point. The point is, for a game like this is an extremely expensive project. To put it simply, this game represents a huge chunk of change, and if Sony were to write this off as a loss on their books, that could represent a pretty significant tax benefit at the end of the year. But one of the reasons why I don't think they're feeling that much like pressure to get Concord sorted out in terms of potential tax write-offs and stuff is because their fiscal year actually ends in March, which is pretty standard. But that effectively means that if they try to relaunch this, say in December or January or February, if it still flops and they decide to just cancel it and write everything off and it's just a total crapshoot, they can do that through March 31st of 2025. So they do have time in terms of their tax obligations to sort of finesse how this game is presented on their books, which, you know, are usually pretty expansive. This is the financial report for 2023, and it is a whole lot. If you feel so inclined to read it, you can find it online. But the point of all of this is to say that Concord is a big old dumpster fire for Sony right now. Literally, by some accounts, the biggest flop in the history of AAA first-party development. And clearly something wasn't working. And if they left the game out there just hemorrhaging money, it wouldn't do Sony any good and it wouldn't do Firewalk any good. It would just be kind of a waste of server infrastructure. So they're just deciding to can it and move on, I guess, or try to come up with some other clever solution. Because again, no shocker, 30 players on Steam within like, what, a week or two of the official launch of it, that just doesn't work. Like, that's unbelievable. It's just, there is no other way to describe this game than a catastrophic failure. And I know some people in games journalism and media have been like, oh, well, no, it's actually like really impressive and they did really good. I get it. You know, the animators did a solid job. The cinematic designers did a really good job. I get it. But that doesn't change the final product. The final product was just lifeless, soulless, boring, and uninteresting, and people didn't like it. And so the game failed catastrophically. And the arrogance of PlayStation to think they could get away with charging $40 to $60 for this was the last nail in the coffin as far as I'm concerned. And now they're taking it offline. They're shutting it down. To their credit, they are refunding people, which is unfortunately not a common thing with live service games that get canceled. A lot of them just kind of go belly up and say thanks for the money, suckers, and move on. But they're actually giving people their money back, which is good for me. I'm going to get a refund on my PlayStation copy, so that's cool. But time will tell what they do with this. So I guess I want to know from you guys in the comment section, like, do you think that they actually try to relaunch this? Do you think they try to do a like free to play or PlayStation Plus or something launch in October, November and just try again? And if they do that, do you think it's successful? I really can't imagine a world where like in 6 months Concord's really popular because of a relaunch, but maybe. I mean, stranger things have happened. Like this is strange, and this happened. I don't know, man. This is just blowing my mind. This is so bizarre. I cannot fathom how this possibly could happen, but we're living it. We're living it. So the saga of Concord continues. It's all the more bizarre, and it just keeps getting freakier and freakier. And we are going to continue being here to watch it and enjoy it. So make sure to subscribe for new videos on dumpster fires like this. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. I appreciate that. And you know what? Let's beat Concord's concurrent player record. Let's get 30 likes on the video. Do you think we can do that? Sorry. I know that's a mean thing. Okay, I'm being mean. But that's going to do it for me. Thank you for watching. I love you all desperately. I'll see you soon. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.